Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Matt with the Hardcover Comic. And before I kick into tonight's overview, I just wanted to let everybody know that we do have a Patreon. And if you go to patreon.com/the Hardcover Comic, you can sign up for as little as $1. You can sign up for our monthly Patreon giveaways. And what do we give away? Well, we give away omnibuses, deluxe editions, things just like this. This is like a prime example of what we give away every single month. If you are international, we just end up buying you a gift card. So everybody can participate. And for every $1 that you donate to our Patreon, you get an entry. So $5, 5 entries, $3, 3 entries, etc. And there is no limit. You can win as many times as you get drawn. And literally all the money that goes from it goes straight back into you guys to give away as a way for us to say thank you for supporting our channel. So be sure you sign up if you're not already a patron. It's a great deal. Next up, we do have some merch if anybody is ever interested. This one was custom made, so if anybody's interested in that, I don't know. But we do have these really awesome mugs as well. People like mugs. We got a lot of good mugs here, all right? $12 for a mug, 13, something like that, shipped. 12 or 13 bucks shipped as the perfect Christmas gift. We also have t-shirts, hoodies, things like that if anybody is interested. But enough of that. Let's go ahead and just jump right into what you guys really came here to see, not me ramble about merchandise. You guys came here to hear all about the new Deadman Omnibus. This is a book that has been a long time coming. Previously, they had released like the Neil Adams edition. It was just like a hardcover newspaper print paper, which is really awesome, by the way. Nice slipcase edition. It wasn't an absolute, though it was standard size. It was a really nice set. But it didn't contain it was probably half of what is in this omnibus. And so they announced an omnibus 2 years ago, maybe. And then it felt like it kept getting pushed back, This was originally supposed to be released, I want to say in August, and then it got pushed back to December. So, but it's finally released, and I am very, very happy to have this in my collection. So, $100 US. What is it Canadian? 131 Canadian. Obviously you guys can get it for less expensive on various sites, in-stock trades, cheap graphic novels, etc. But yeah, so it's a really great collection, and we're gonna go ahead and dive right into it. All right, so here we go, the Deadman Omnibus. So here is obviously the front with the dust jacket on there, and it notates, Neil Adams, Jerry Conway, Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, and Jack Miller. Neil Adams and Jack Miller probably being the two biggest names that most people associate Deadman with, especially for this era. However, Deadman was actually created by Arnold Drake in 1967 and Carmine Infantino on art. And unfortunately, in my opinion anyway, it's unfortunate that they did not include them anywhere on here. Granted, they were only on it for like 2 issues, but still, they created the freaking character. I feel like they should get a little more notoriety here. Beautiful spine, as you saw. Flip it over. Here is the back. So this one is going to collect a lot of different kind of material. Let me zoom in here, or pick it up and zoom in. So this is going to collect Deadman 1 through 4, Strange Adventures 205 to 216, and Strange Adventures 205 is actually the first appearance of Deadman and Boston Brand. The Brave and the Bold 79, 86, 104, 133, Aquaman 50 to 52, Challengers of the Unknown 74, and then 84 through 87, Superman Family 183, DC Superstars 18, DC Special Series 8, Adventure Comics 459 to 466, DC Comics Presents 24, Detective Comics 500, Secret Origins 15, and Who's Who, The Definitive History of the DC Universe, numbers 6, 13, and 20. So yeah, it's just a lot of random issues. As you can tell, he was sort of a supporting character. He was never really a leading man, so to speak. Kind of still like that to this day, unfortunately. But he's a super interesting character, which is why I do wish that he would have his own series. But here it is. Let's take off the dust jacket here. All right, so once you get the dust jacket off, you have this gorgeous cover art here that I really, really love. And then we have A very gorgeous spine. And again, they didn't mention Carmine Infantino or Arnold Drake anywhere on here, the creators of Deadman, which is, in my opinion, a little unfortunate. I mean, granted, they didn't do a whole lot with the character, I understand, but, you know. And then you got Deadman, and then Boston Brand going, hey, I'm dead, man. And then we open it up. They had some really nice art and really cool stuff that they did here with the end pages. I really like that a lot. That looks really good. Nice title page. They designed it really well. I will give them that. There they give Arnold Drake some due. And then here is the table of contents, which is also going to list all the creators and stuff. So it starts off with Strange Adventures 205, which is actually the first appearance of, Boston Brand Deadman. And then Neil Adams takes over art on 206. And then Jack Miller takes over writing on 207. And then it's Jack Miller and Neil Adams for a while, which are really kind of the two main names that people tend to associate Deadman with. And then after a while, Neil Adams kind of takes over both writing and art with some guest spots, kind of here and there. But primarily Neil Adams stuff. Denny O'Neil, Mike Friedrich. I'll keep bumping the camera. Sorry about that. So it's just a lot of kind of one-off appearances and things like that because, well, as I said before, he's sort of a supporting man. He wasn't like a mainstay character with his own series. If he ever did get his own series, it was just like a 4-issue mini or a 6-issue mini type thing. It does have a nice intro here by Arnold Drake, and then also a really nice intro by Carmine Infantino. And then it kicks off into Strange Adventures 205, which is the first time you see him. So right here, this art is Carmine Infantino. This is not Neil Adams as of yet. Now, a lot of people are like, is it good? That's what we want to know. Well, it depends. It's late 60s, early 70s, so you be the judge. If you're a fan of that sort of era of writing, then the answer is yeah. I mean, I personally am, and I thoroughly enjoy it. But there is a lot of people that are like, the art looks amazing, but the story's all over the place. Or the art looks amazing, but the story was very lackluster. So, the kind of Silver Age, almost early Bronze, it's not for everybody. But I liked it. So if you want my opinion, yes, I thought it was really great. But here's where you start getting into the Neil Adams art. And a lot of people are like, oh, this is amazing art. And it is. It is truly amazing art. And the one thing that I'm kind of bummed about when it comes to this book is that I'm sure a lot of you guys are actually going to like. It does not have the newspaper prints, like the Joker Omnibus and things like that have recently come out. It had kind of like that thick matte newspaper print, and I really, really dug it. I thought that was amazing. A really nice touch of those older stories. And so I was really aiming and hoping that this would have it too. Unfortunately, it does not. It has kind of like that, that regular matte glossy kind of, I guess it can only be matte and glossy, but like the regular omnibus style paper that you would find in, a normal omnibus. It's not the newspaper print that I really like. So, but yeah, so for those that don't know, Boston Brand, aka Deadman, he was a circus trapeze artist who ends up being killed during one of his acts, and a Hindu god named Ramakrishna gives him the ability to come back and basically try to right his wrongs, if you will, or right the wrongs and catch his killers and things like that, revenge. And so Deadman can possess people's bodies. He's a spirit, he's a ghost, so, he can possess people's bodies. Usually if it depends on how strong-willed they are, he can do it for longer periods of time, or someone like Batman, for instance, it's very minor and very quick because Batman's strong-willed and kicks him out. So it just depends on the person that he's inhabiting. But once he inhabits them, he can obviously control them. Once he leaves their body, they do not remember him taking them over. They're kind of like, oh, why am I here? Sort of like Bill and Ted. When Bill and Ted jumped into the cops' bodies and they were like, hey, Bill, hey, Ted. And then they go outside and then they leave and the cops are like, hey, what are we doing out here? Same type of thing. And for those that haven't seen Bill and Ted, shame on you. But back to the book. So it is kind of a tight binding. I have actually stretched this spine 4 or 5 times now. And as you can see, we're on page 204, and it still is not wanting to lay at all. It just wants to immediately close. It is a sewn binding, but it's very, very tight. I think about 250 is when it wants to kind of start laying flat a little bit better. Well, almost to 250. Let's see here. All right, so we're at 260, and it's finally it's finally starting to lay flat on its own. But so it is a really, really tight bind, and I'll show you guys the eye hole or lack thereof, the eye hole here in a minute as well to really kind of show you guys that. But some really great stuff, some really great interaction, some really great cameos and things throughout the books, which is also a lot of fun. Phantom Stranger, Batman, Superman. There's just all sorts of like really cool characters that you kind of get to see. And with Neil Adams' art, it's really neat and it's beautiful. I mean, it was Neil Adams in his frickin' prime, 1967, kicking off things at DC, and then he goes up through the 70s and the 80s, and I mean, like I said, it's Neil Adams in his prime. If you're a fan of Neil Adams, you are going to love this book. Swamp Thing, just really cool appearances. And then let's go. I want to show everybody everything. And then we have the back here. So again, really nice cover art or end page art here. I wanted to show you guys the eye hole or lack thereof. So it's really small. And in order to get just even that right there, like I said, I had to stretch out this spine probably 4 or 5 times before I was actually able to even get that much of one. When I initially started stretching the spine, I couldn't get an eye hole at all. So the more you read it, the more you stretch the spine, the more you break it in, it is going to loosen up and kind of give you a better overall look. But yeah, so there you guys have it. Deadman Omnibus, Mr. Boston Brand in his prime. I highly suggest you picking this up, especially if you can get it, obviously for way less than cover. If you're a fan of Neil Adams' art, or if you're just a fan of the character, it's going to be great. It also gives like a lot of really cool backstory stuff, and you kind of learn, for those that have like read, Blackest Night and things like that, you're like, oh, I recognize Deadman, or maybe Justice League Dark, the recent stuff. You guys are going to be like, oh, yeah, I recognize that character. Well, this is where you can actually learn his history and where you can learn more about the character and things like that. So it is pretty neat, and I do highly recommend it. Just be aware that as far as the writing goes, it's older. So if you're more of a modern fan, you might not like the writing so much. So take that what you will. I just want to be open and upfront and honest about that. But I really dig it. I think you will too. So pick it up. Deadman Omnibus. Thank you everyone for watching. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and share the video. And we'll see you next time.